Hello, it is Sunday, it is afternoon, and it is October, which means Preptober. I am your host, Morgan Hazelwood, and I am coming to you live from a friend's house while I'm stepping out in the middle of a closing of the pool party. So if you hear elephants, it is small children above my head. But I didn't want to miss my stream, and I didn't want to miss time for prepping for my exciting adventure. So please forgive me when I talk over you because I have very, very bad latency. I'm on satellite internet right now. So will my co-host, lovely co-host, introduce themselves? Boom.
That would be you, Sako.
Yeah. Howdy, neighbors. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit. I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and I do another thing, and I can't remember how this intro goes now. It's been a couple of weeks.
You need to do a cue card.
Art.
I draw stuff.
And you mix it all together.
Illustrator.
In a big bowl.
If you are interested in videos that pertain to marketing for authors, I have a whole playlist of them on my channel, Sako Tumi Voit. And it's not just me talking, it's also a whole bunch of other awesome author tubers who have something to say on the topic. And keep watching.
And I am Doc Coleman, and I write steampunk comedy adventure. And if this piques your interest, then you can go and search for Doc Coleman Steampunk, and you will find my stuff. Or if you're too lazy to do that on YouTube, you can look at the links down below. But I'm here to support all the Preptober folks as I prepare for Ed member. I'm going to be doing editing instead.
Right.
I'm so far behind.
So 50,000 words worth of editing?
Yeah, more than that. More like 100,000 words worth of editing.
I mean, you're already getting some started.
To the end of your manuscript?
I've got notes from my editor, which I'm still in the process of embedding into my manuscript.
Okay.
But they are all from all different levels, from you need a comma here to this is passive voice to this sentence is awkward, up to you should have flagged this earlier so that it made sense to the reader at this point.
So you're also revising.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's all the good notes, but multiple levels of revision, which usually means multiple sweeps through the whole story over the course of a month. Because I still want to get this thing published.
It might mean writing something like spending Preptober outlining it and then rewriting it.
Don't know so much about outlining, but I definitely want to transcribe everything into my manuscript in Scrivener, so I've got all the pieces there in front of me.
Cool.
So for Preptober, my big goal, I think, for today is to come up with a list of names, at least 25 random names. I have my main characters, but I've learned from my past poor experiences that if I don't have names to grab and go, either I'll stop and try to pick out a name for the next 5 hours, or I'll end up with placeholder names that do not fit, like Alice, Bob, and Carol fighting against Canada in a Second World fantasy. This is not an example. This is a true thing that actually happened. I like to make sure that I have names I can grab and go with before I get started, because placeholder names do not work for me. And that way you can make sure that you have names that are different links with different letter starting sounds and letter starting endings and number of syllables, because a lot of people on the fly will end up with names that sound very similar, unfortunately, which is something they highly suggest you not do, because people have trouble keeping track of characters, and the easier you can make it for them, the better they can follow along. Hi, we have a Greg.
We do have a
Greg.
Greg says he is so far behind on everything, and his marketing sucks, and he doesn't think he has the spoons. Well,
Yeah.
don't you have a body double? Can't Sean do the marketing for you? For those who don't know,
I understand very well the amount of spoons it takes to market yourself. I still haven't marketed Flambeau the way it should have been, nor Shadow of the Fae. So I might do a push in November.
I will do my marketing push when the third book gets published.
Our
Market
friend
first
Sean,
book as you market the subsequent books.
Oh yeah, no, publishing each subsequent book remarkets the first book.
Nice. You know what you're doing.
Yep. I have a plan. It may be a bad plan, but it's my plan, and I'm following it.
So, okay, and we have a Jenny. Hello.
Hi, Jenny. She is also doing, editing month. So she is currently going through book 2, and then she is also outlining book 3 this Preptober. Yeah, she's been editing book 2 all day. Yeah. I have a sequel with 3 separate timelines. Oh, that all intertwine with each other, parts A, B, and C.
That's Greg saying that, by the way.
Yeah. Holy cannoli.
And Greg apparently has outlines that problem with outlines.
With 3 timelines, I would think outlines would be essential.
Yeah.
Because how are you keeping your timelines at all, let alone...
So Greg says that his stuff tends to write itself, and I'm kind of in the
similar boat.
In the same boat with that, in terms of I have a vague idea of how I want things to fall out, and I just write it. I have no idea where that sound came from.
Not it.
Oh,
okay.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. I'm trying to find a timer since my normal one isn't loading.
Oh, okay.
And I did the sound check, and I did not approve.
Yeah, I would not approve of that.
I would not approve of that.
But we were wondering if someone was strangling one of the kids.
Poor Greg.
Oh no. Greg also needs.
Yeah.
Oh, you already had it up. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Also needs a publisher or to self-publish, which wine pismoan. I totally get that, having the number of spoons to self-publish. There are a lot of hats you have to wear.
Yeah.
Granted, a similar amount of hats have to be worn when you're going for a publisher too.
Yeah,
like people who make self-publishing is not real. Oh, has not actually done it. Yeah.
So we're on to the next one. Yeah, I'm in the camp of I believe that it is worth your while to self-publish so you understand what is involved in publishing. Even if you traditional publish for the rest of your career, you should have that experience so you know what to expect and you know what people are talking about.
So, did you catch that Haley? I think it's Haley Wrights she did a video on traditional means are the only means and self-publishing is not real because they don't quality control and et cetera.
No.
So AuthorTube has been all up in arms about self-publishing should be just as justified as traditional publishing, because You still have to go to an editor when you're self-publishing.
Well, you should go to an editor when you're self-publishing, but there's nobody there to make you do it. So
You have to be your own boss.
I mean, this is like,
unless you get like a coach to help you self-publish or whatever, then they give you like a calendar or something.
I don't know why people insist on judging all self-publishing by the worst of the breed. You know, are we going to judge all traditional publishing by the worst of the breed, or are we going to say it varies? There are problems. You know,
I have to.
The same problems traditional self-publishing has, traditional publishing has. So
I have been very disappointed by traditional publishing lately, just within the last like 2 years. I looked up a couple of like the best-selling horror books and whatnot, and they were really disappointing. Both on the editing front and story-wise.
Shout out to Jennifer Brown, who stopped by to say hi, because she's in a sprint right now, so she'll
yeah, best of luck with that stream. I wish I could join you. So Jennifer Brown's Nano project is going to involve me and 2 other author tubers, from what I understand, as murderers in her book. So that's going to be an adventure.
So Greg is telling us that one of his former publishers tried to sell him her business, and he laughed out loud. Yeah, it's hard enough. It's definitely hard enough publishing your own stuff, but to actually have to try to do a business publishing your stuff, other people's stuff, and still be able to write.
Exactly.
Oh, and he was her only profitable title. Oh, sheesh. Yeah. And the next one here, very hard to handle with a life and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, God forbid she have kids.
And Jennifer reminds us that people get stabby in her story. Yeah, and Morgan is well armed.
I would like to state for the record that I can take these off the wall. It's not just a background thing.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh.
Wow.
So if the kids upstairs
don't want to
get a little bit,
if the kids
upstairs, you can go and get in touch with your villain characters.
Yeah.
Get some dark side
points. What do you say about a sprint?
We've been stalling until you told us that you've got the timer and everything set up.
And then I private chatted and said, this borrowed laptop from somebody's work is blocking my regular timer site, and I am not using that whistle thing. So if you have access, otherwise I can just, mute us and come back in 22 minutes.
Well, stall for a bit and I'll go look.
Okay.
We're stalling. We're stalling.
Greg was saying earlier that what happens with him in outlines is he writes them and then they go off the track, and then he stops writing because he has a tantrum about it going off the outline.
I re-outline.
Because outlines not only take the sales out of his writing, but he never stays on them. And then I have several novels that were killed when outlining. I know plenty of traditionally or self-published successful authors who do not outline, because knowing how it ends gets rid of their momentum, and they don't care enough about the story to write it if they know what's going to happen. So I understand that some people, that's how they work. And, maybe it works for some stories and not others, because if your method is not working, you can switch methods. It's the joy of being a writer. Do what works for this time, for this novel.
And it may, alter from novel to novel for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I'm giving Jennifer some inspiration with the axes and the pole arms behind me. And we have a timer.
We have a timer. We have 22 minutes on the timer.
Excellent. Shall we do this?
I believe we can actually do the sprint thing.
Okay, well, let's say hi real quick to Yes Books watching over on Twitch. Hello. And Greg was letting us know that his book has part A half done, where he had to kill his darling, trimming down a chapter 4. And he has part B, which is awesome, but not really matching. And a part C he hasn't even started. I have a story that has a part A and part B that don't really match. It's a Robin Hood gender bent retelling in which the stuff I took straight out of the myths sound like the myths, and the stuff I added sounds like I wrote it, and it needs to be rewritten in one voice. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and be productive. Let us know what you're working on in the comments below, and let's do 22 minutes of productivity because I am easily amused and it's 2022.
Yep.
Starting when you're ready, Doc.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1, go. That's the spread.
That was a little loud.
Was it?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. It happens. So how was your spring?
Wonderful. I am okay. So I have an outline for my story arc / book for Vela, and I'm putting it into my series Bible.
Nice.
The best thing about writing down like everything in a journal is I have all my stuff in hard copy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, because they're the only things I have of books 1, 2, and 3.
Mm.
So at least I have the outlines and I can like write it over again.
Right. That's so rough. I picked out a bunch of names because I'm doing near future. Like I'm doing just enough post-pandemic to be post-pandemic.
Mhm.
That meant I had to pick names of eras I have lived through that did not have deep and significant meaning to me for my grab and go name list. So I found a good set of names of like over about 25 for both genders. And or the primary two genders, not that there are plenty of people outside the spectrum. But also I am starting to come up with my own religion because I have a certain level of supernatural creatures in there. And so I'm not doing away with any religions that are here, but I'm going to have some based a little more on whatever my supernaturally thing, which is Hearthcraft. So it's going to be revolving around that sort of level stuff. So,
Cool.
So yeah, I get to design religions. I love designing religions.
That's always
So that's what I'm working on now.
So I transferred notes for about a scene and a half into my manuscript. So making progress. But I was going to say, I know that you prefer working with other tools than Scrivener, but one of the nice things about Scrivener is that it does have a name generator.
Yeah.
So you can literally generate hundreds of names for particular cultures.
Yeah, it uses the baby name engine.
Yep.
I mean, I know where that website is. It takes me an extra 20 seconds to go to the website. I can get lost for hours looking for names with particular meanings that aren't well known for that meaning. So it's hopefully less in your face than, oh, her name is Faith.
Uh-huh.
Or her name is Niava, or however you pronounce the backwards heaven one.
Mm-hmm.
Niava, right?
Nevea.
So Nevea. I guess it depends, on the parent, what the pronunciation
How
is.
the parent says it, yeah.
Well, it really kind of depends on, do you want meaningful or meaningless names for these particular characters? So it's like, it sounds like you want meaningless names for characters that appear randomly.
Yeah, no, I do want more random. Although I did pick one name of a kid that bullied my sister briefly. So he's going to be at least a jerk in the book. He's not going to like, I don't usually write jerks in, but I think it's easier to write a jerk in that wasn't a jerk to me specifically, because then I don't have to deal with that emotional baggage. Just, So popping into the comments, just before we went to break, Greg said that knowing how it ends gets rid of their momentum. True. So that's how he works. So that's good to know. He says that he didn't know how Trolley was going to end until he wrote it. And I would like to say, for those interested, Trolley is a mix of steampunk adventure and Lovecraftian horror, which was not an expectation I had going in, and kind of surprised me when we hit those plot points.
The facial tentacles are always a surprise. No.
Right? Sako likes to outline and doesn't know her endings. And we've heard me say, I lightly outline, know a direction, a few milestones, and then completely ignore it until I get stuck. So
Yep.
Jenny
I know the beginning,
is,
the ending, and a few key scenes, and I wing it from there.
So Jenny finished editing another chapter, made 4 today, and is now switching to outlining book 3.
Sweet.
Grig got a page done, and he's still wondering how crude he should be. He has a psychotic main character who does a lot of gross stuff for shock value. That's a hard line.
If you are self-publishing, then you can write whatever the heck you want. And there's an audience for it.
I think you really need to evaluate how much the psychotic main character is doing it for shock value and how much you're doing it to give the psychotic main character shock value, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I would also think about...
I believe a psychotic character would always go further than I would, though. So maybe lean into it.
I would lean into it.
The fact that you say the character does gross things for shock value, and it's like, is being crude on top of that going to be more shocking, or is it kind of going to dull the event? I don't know.
Yeah,
I actually
it might match the tone. It might match the tone.
I kind of like the idea of dangerous psychotic characters who do horrible things, but also like won't do things like curse. And it's like that's kind of a sign of the imprint on them that they won't deliberately use bad words, but they'll do awful things. So
that's not a moral high ground that they think it is, I think.
Yeah. Oh, of course not. It helps show how wrong they are.
Yeah. So Greg said that his last publisher wanted him to tone that down.
I know of companies that went to sell horror, and that like falls into their aesthetic like really well. So like there's always going to be a publisher for you.
Let's see.
Oh, King Red Spy Red X is here. Hello, Jacob Alexander Schernweber, Mr. Marston. Wait, Mr. Marston's the cat, isn't it? Red Spy Red X. And enjoy Thunderdome. I hope you're having fun. So, Greg said both. So, I lost track of what that was in response to. Sorry, I'm putting beef stew in my face.
As
I said, I'm at a party and they made food.
Yeah.
And it is a snack-driven podcast for snack-driven authors.
I mean, right. So what are you snacking on today? Who should be sponsoring us?
We made cinnamon rolls for breakfast, so
oh, nice.
I've been snacking steadily on Pillsbury leftovers. So
I have ice cream sandwiches.
Nice. Okay, I have a new regular banner.
Is your spring snack?
Help us explore new worlds of snacking.
Right. So Jenny says popcorn and coffee are the snacks today.
I just finished a
classics. Classics for. So are we ready for another sprint? Is that where we're at?
I would like to finish outlining my second act.
Okay. I'd like to finish designing getting a bit further into design. I'll have picked out the holidays. I won't have necessarily designed what a religious ceremony looks like. So
okay.
Oh, Greg isn't sure. The shock value is the main character constantly pushing the other main character's limits under the claim she's doing it to make her tough, but I want to leave that ambiguous. Oh, so maybe a little less on screen? I don't know. And more implied?
Mm, I would say you can still have shocking, have her do shocking things to kind of push her, because it helps with the tone. And if that's the kind of tone you want to this book, I think it would like go into horror really well.
Yeah. Oh, Jenny seems to indicate that popcorn and coffee, as opposed to snacks for the day, is all she's had to eat today. Yes, real food may in fact be your next call.
Yeah.
Greg
Protein
is
support,
snack.
even if it's with nuts.
Ooh, Greg's got Inca Cola and the giant food egg rolls.
I didn't
Are
realize
you a
giant
duck
made
sauce
egg rolls.
person?
I did not know Giant Food did egg rolls.
They might be in the freezer section. I'm not sure.
In the freezer section, but like store brand?
No idea. May have to try those.
Okay, we have our snacks. I think we're ready for another sprint.
Cool.
We have a timer.
Ooh.
All right.
Ready when you are.
Ready? In 3, 2, 1, boom. And that's time.
Oh, so how was your sprint?
I feel like I made good progress. I finished off 2 more scenes and started into the next chapter. So,
Nice.
and
That
actually,
sounds pretty cool.
now that I look at it, I'm mostly done with the first scene in this new chapter. So,
Nice.
Right.
Sako?
I just realized I went into Act 3 without changing the page, without making the section. So I guess I'm gonna write this paragraph over again.
this is your outline.
Yeah, it's for my series Bible.
Okay.
And this is why I use Trello, because that way I can reorganize things without getting stressed out and wanting to rip out pages and flailing.
Well, I'm not flailing or anything like that. It's just like 3 lines.
The flailing comes later. The flailing's not in the schedule until the deadline.
Flailing comes towards the deadline, yes.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. I did some research about different hospitality customs in different places and that sort of thing. And
Cool.
I have half of my holidays picked out. Just trying not to steal too much from things I already know about, but also it's seasonal, so seasonal things happen at regular intervals. So popping into the comments. So Greg said that the giant food egg rolls were in the deli section.
Interesting.
And it's like 6 for $6. So
I may have to.
Carrie made it. Hello and welcome.
Hi, Carrie. Long time no see.
Jenny
How the heck
said,
are you?
gonna be turning into a real food day soon. Trying to get some notes done before starting dinner because real food is important.
It is.
And Carrie is working on a bullet journal for the week.
Yeah, I did that earlier today.
Yeah, Greg heard nothing because, you should be hearing stuff now.
So I still had my mic muted when the timer alarm went off. Did y'all hear the timer?
No.
Nope.
Okay. So I need to make sure
that's
that.
Why,
yeah.
That's why I always do the share audio and then switch to share tab when I bring it in. So
Okay.
But it was super loud last time, so
that's probably because it was playing the audio right next to where the microphone was. Because I wasn't muted last time. I had preemptively unmuted myself. So
gotcha. So Jenny started working on book 3, outlining brainstorming, and Greg wrote half a page and edited a few things to get a better flow with the dialogue. Nice. Always a good level of progress. Yay. I still have one beta reader with my stuff out, but I know they started on it. Did I ever thank the person who finished this week? That might be on my to-do list.
We have no idea.
Like, I think I sent a thumbs up, but my phone has not been cooperating. I have 2 instances of Facebook on it, and the Facebook Messenger for the Morgan Hazelwood writer account is letting me see messages but not respond to them. Like the Google keyboard is not opening for it, and it won't let me like voice the text. So I have to log out and log in with my primary instantiation of Messenger on my phone, which is just weird, or do it on my computer. And that requires remembering it while I'm on my computer logged into Facebook, which I am not right now. So hopefully tonight I will remember to reach out and thank her. So, super excited. But as always, I am holding off on reading any of the comments until I have all of the comments, because otherwise I find I end up giving more credence to the first ones I read, and I want to treat them all equally. So
Oh, right on.
So I have
I like to
two
get them all
monitors.
first too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll have two monitors full of them with like the comments and go through them all at the same time. And if it's a line edit, I'll accept it. Otherwise, I'll set it aside and then see what I have at the end.
Yeah.
Except for,
I don't quite do that. I as I get the feedback, I start to copy it into my manuscript, but I don't change anything until I get.
Oh, I'll compile stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll read it and I'll copy it, but I won't change anything until I've got all the feedback in, because I want to see how the votes go. Because I don't want to change something because somebody didn't like it and then have 3 people come back and say, this is the best thing ever. Don't change this.
Right. Especially when it's something you liked in the first place. So I'm super excited to get that back. But at this point, it's going to be after Nano that I start on it. I mean, you know, even if I got it tomorrow, I might be able to do a first pass just seeing what they said. But, you know, I'm not going to be able to work the edits in at this point before.
Yeah, I'd wait.
And I like Nano. I enjoy it. So
I do too. I especially enjoy Nano when I've got time to take off from work. So instead of doing the day job, I can just spend my day writing. But
I've never done that.
My day editing.
I have literally never done that for NaNoWriMo. Probably because a couple times I've had like a full Sunday or Saturday and Sunday to write, and it took me all 8 hours to get the same number of words I get in 90 minutes. Because I didn't feel
this is
the
difference between how we work.
Yeah.
This is the difference between how we work, because last year I had a ton of leave, so I took off the week between the week after Veterans Day. So that whole week I was, you know, my day job that week was writing, and I was pumping out 2,500 words a day easily in 6 hours or less. And
I'm going to say, in my defense, I think the last time I tried that was before I really started using sprinting regularly. And I think giving myself, you know, see how many words I can do in 20 minutes or whatever, and then take a quick break for 15, 20, maybe half hour, and then come back to it, I think works better for me, especially because I know on a good day, I can do, you know, 500 words in the 20 minutes. On a bad day, it's less than 300. On a great day, it's over 700 words. And so I know if I'm tracking my regular pace.
Yep.
So now that I know how fast I can write, So, Greg said I liked Nano, but he wait, you're running Katsucon this year?
He was running
Katsucon. Made him stop past test.
Yeah.
Well, you can always come back. You gave Katsu you didn't give Katsu the boot. You retired honorably, clearly, obviously. So Carrie says, I'm going to try to plan a writing retreat for myself next year as a last of my 30s birthday present. Greg says he won Nano twice and lost once. So
yeah.
I've never finished
twice. I've lost a lot of time.
I've lost a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've won a couple of times. Like I won my first. And then I've been doing it for 12 years.
I've won the last 9 or 8 out of the last 9 years. And I skipped 1 year because I was getting separated and moving and hitting PhilCon and hosting Thanksgiving for 20. It just did not seem like I would be in the right state for that month. So I just didn't.
Yeah,
but I know what I need to do to win Nano, and I know that it is not sustainable for me. So I do like my primary rough drafting in November, and the rest of the year is either finishing the story or editing. Greg says his record was 101,000 words in 1 month, but that story was called Rahab. Oh, I did a Nano and a half one year. But it's book 2, and it's the one with all the placeholder names. So I haven't edited it because it's a book 2, and there's no point until I know exactly what book 1's going to look like. But at least that way I can set up things that will be happening in book 2 in book 1. So Carrie says they haven't won since they got married. Yeah. Greg was running and is definitely retired from Katsu for now, at least. And Jenny won the only year she posted on the website. I know it doesn't work for everyone. I know binging through it gets me a draft that I'm usually happy with. Although, just because I won doesn't mean I liked it. I did throw away 30,000 words and try again on my space fantasy.
Yeah, so you got to be willing to give up the words if they're not working for you.
Yep. So, Kitten in a Bowl, hello and welcome. I don't know if you have attended my sprint before. Kitten in a Bowl has never won Nano. I think if you end NaNoWriMo with more words than you would have had you not been participating, it's a win. Like,
agreed.
Yeah.
If it inspires you to more words, everybody, what works for them is different. And November's a horrible month for 80% of people. So, you know,
at least in the US.
Yeah.
So,
Jenny
I think they chose November deliberately because it was difficult. Because if you can manage that, you can manage the things that will come at you as a working author.
Yeah.
So Jenny says the one she won was with Beastly, so it worked.
It's a good book.
Greg says he retired from Katsu a few years after he got married. He didn't want Candy to be a Katsucon widow. I get that.
Yeah.
My boyfriend jokes about being a NaNoWriMo widow. And he's like, oh no, November is coming. I miss you. Farewell.
Yep.
So Kitten in a Bowl is going to be trying again this year. That's awesome. So I will obviously, we do a lot more sprints in November than maybe the rest of the year.
Yeah, and sometimes we end up doing some really long streaming sessions because of that. But
yeah. In November, if I haven't hit my word count by the end of the stream, I will be like, let's go again and again and again until I get words. So that is coming. Although as of this week, I have roommates. So my at-home streaming setup may be changing. I'm not sure what's going to work and what's not. So we will see. So, well, it is 6 o'clock. What do you say to a third and final sprint?
Just one.
I think we got one more in us.
Yep. Okay. Fingers at the ready. Get ready to sprint in 3, 2, 1. Boom chakalaka. Oh yeah. And there I go, forgetting to unmute it until the alarm goes off again. And we're done.
Okay, who knew?
I
You
did.
did, and no one else. So, how was your sprint?
Mostly good. I'm just searching for one last word to put a comment on, and I can't see it.
No, okay. I
There it is.
went up to say goodbye to the small children who were leaving, and the power blinked. But I did manage to get back and do a little more research about when certain things are ready and ripe for harvesting in Virginia, because I've decided my religion is based. I mean, it's
Based
about
on the
hearthcraft.
Mhm.
So I think,
Appalachian
food is very
hearth.
food is very central. And first frost, which is very regional, and first snow gets a holiday because
It's a snack-based religion. No.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's a snack-based religion. Getting
I
all the
love it.
snacks is very important.
Right? So, how was your sprint, Doc?
Let's see. I feel like I made good progress. Yeah, I finished the chapter I was working on before and started the next one, but
Nice.
I'm only about a quarter of the way into it. So,
Gotcha.
but,
Okay. Sako, how was yours?
I have finished putting the outline in my series Bible. I think the next
Yay.
thing I do is character profiles.
mhm.
Sounds like fun.
Okay. So,
Yep.
one thing I
Yep.
wanted to add was that all through this, my editor's been saying more detail, more detail, more detail. I got to a section where I actually described something, and she's like, delete, 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 delete. Make up your mind.
You want detail or not?
And then I come
Right?
to a couple sections where it's like, a boring bureaucratic conversation. So I skimmed over it, and you should detail these. It's like, what do you people think is interesting?
There are fan people for everything.
Apparently there are.
Popping into the comments, Kitten in a Bowl is going to try Nano again this year. I found sprints really help me, which is why I do this. Carrie said that they had a panel at the library about Nano yesterday, and they told people there not to take it too seriously. 50,000 was arbitrarily picked as a minimal count for a number. The point is to get in the writing habit. Yeah. The point is to learn to turn off your editorial brain and get that draft out there so you don't spend a month perfecting the first chapter and never actually finish the story, where you find it went off the rails and the first chapter needs to be rewritten anyway.
Yep.
Griggs said, thank goodness Candy understands I am an author. She likes my work. Her last husband, whom she loved dearly, was a terrible author. Her last husband's poetry was so bad, she says. I don't know. I don't like any poetry, so shrug. I have learned that I like poetry when it's read aloud much better than reading it silently to myself. And because the local open mic night has a huge variety of poets, I have learned what types of poetry are not for me and what types I might aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
So,
as long as it's not Vogue.
Jenny got some more food.
I just broke my wife. I said, as long as it's not Vogue on poetry, and I just broke my wife.
I mean, Vogue on poetry exists for a reason. I believe it was torturing
random
prisoners
people,
of war. So Jenny got real food and continued to outline / brainstorm. Grig did some more action sequences, laser gun fight, knee deep in junk food garbage.
Nice.
That's the future of your snack-based religion.
Hopefully my snacks don't end up in garbage.
No, but they
It's-
produce wrappers. No.
It's true. It's true. And, burn barrels can only go so far.
Yep.
So,
Especially when the packaging has to make the snack withstand the vacuum of space.
indeed. So, well, we are almost at time, and I was going to go socialize with some people that I've been avoiding for the last 2 hours.
Cool.
So, let's go ahead and do our outros. Who wants to go first?
Fine, I'll go first. I'm Doc Coleman. I write stories of mad science, manners, and mayhem. If you're interested in finding out more about my stories, you can go to your favorite search engine and search for Doc Coleman Steampunk. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, for your convenience, the links are right below. I am currently trying to get my second novel in the Adventures of Crackle and Bang ready for publication, hopefully before Christmas this year. All fingers crossed. That will be The Kindred of Kali. So bug me about it.
Nudge, nudge.
Yep.
Okay, Sako.
Howdy, neighbors. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as Voit. I write horror, and I'm a witch, and I'm a graphic designer, and sometimes I combine those three things. If you are interested in videos that pertain to marketing for authors, I have a whole playlist of them on my channel, Sako Tumi Voit. And it's not just me talking, it's also a bunch of other awesome author tubers who have something to say on the topic. And you should drop by sometime. I would love to see you.
Awesome. Before I do my outro, Greg said he did a panel about Nano at Balticon years ago, and one audience member just couldn't understand the concept. Apparently, the guy was very resistant to any writing exercise that did not generate profit.
Some people are like that.
Some people are like
well, all of us would love people to throw money at us hand over fist for writing our stories. That's if that's the only reason you're doing it, it's going to be hard to find the persistence to really make it in this market, I think.
Okay.
So and thank you all for watching.
Mandatory cat content because
mandatory cat content.
Yep. So this is Gilly.
Right.
This is
hi Gilly.
This is your mandatory cat for this weekend.
Right. So, and I'm your host, Morgan Hazelwood. I am a blogger, vlogger, and podcaster of writing tips from the pros and writerly musings, my own. And let's see, this week I was chatting about my experience at Capclave. Yes, sorry. I keep doing Capclave and ChessieCon backwards, So that's what I was talking about there. And over on the podcast, I don't remember what I was talking about. Maybe, it might have been mental health in genre fiction, both the good, the bad, and the ugly of how people have portrayed it and how portrayals are getting more realistic with examples and such. So you can check that out on Writing Tips and Writerly Musings, wherever you get your podcasts. And, stick around and hang out, and we'll be back next week. If not sooner, who knows? Have a great week, and I'm so glad y'all made it, and we could help you get a little more work done and some quality snacking in. Bye.
Night.